Welcome, welcome to Crafty Blessings with Angie. I am in an event today. We're gonna cook. Welcome to Crafty Blessings with Angie. I'm waiting for a thing to pop up so I can take it off. Welcome to Crafty Blessings with Angie. As you come on, if you'll say hello. We are cooking in the kitchen today with a Sacred Treasure House. And today's event is Chef's Choice. Hello, Lori. Thank you for sprinkling. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Oh, y'all. Oh, I pray that this doesn't give me a hard time getting back to it. Why does it like to do that? If you accidentally click off, it don't want to take you to the same live. Okay. Just trying to make sure I don't miss any comments, y'all. So, I can see them pretty good on that one now. I have different glasses. So, we are in an event today with the Sacred Treasure House, and I don't have time to waste because I've got a lot planned to do. So, if you're seeing this live, I hope you will comment and say hello. And if you're seeing it on the replay, please put hashtag replay because I know some people they just can't watch it this time of day. So, I was debating on what to make, and I was just so torn. I put a little thing on my page, and I asked for some help, and everybody wanted me pretty much. I think I had one person say they wanted a dessert, and the rest said that they would rather see a main dish. So that's what I went with, was a main dish. And after I'd done all this prep, in fact, just a couple minutes ago, I realized I think I've made this before. So I'm not seeing any comments, so if you're here, will you please say hello and let me see if my comments are working? I would greatly appreciate that. So, y'all, I think I've done this in a cooking event. I don't think it was this event, but I'm making chicken and dumplings. And every time, there we go, Heart and Art DIY. Thank you for commenting and thank you for being here. And I think I've done this before, but every time I make something in the kitchen, I'm not a strict recipe person. I don't know if y'all are, but I'm not a strict recipe person. I tend to, I get a recipe as a guide, and then I tweak it and change it and do whatever I want. So please bear with me as we make this. And we are going to, hi Leslie, thank you for sprinkling. And I am going to be using some sourdough today and make my dumplings. And I'm using a biscuit recipe for my dumplings. And then what dough I have remaining, because I don't want to make a huge pan. It's just me and my husband. That's the hardest thing. Is anyone else here in that phase of your life that, you know, you're used to cooking for a whole family? Hi, Brittany. Hello, Cindy. Hi, Lisa. Lisa's Craft House is up after me. Y'all, let me turn on my Do Not Disturb. I forgot. There we go. Lisa's Craft House is up after me. And again, this is an event with Sacred Treasure House. And Sacred Treasure House is run by 3 amazing creators. 1 is Timeless Treasures by Tanya. And 2 is Sacred Sew, and that's Deborah. And then definitely not the least, but Lisa's Craft House, and that's Lisa. And she's going to follow me, y'all. And so I hope that you will go to the Sacred Treasure House group. It's in the description. Go there, join, so you can see every one of the creators and what they're making today. So, again, let me go back. Let's see if I missed anybody. Hi, Donna from Alabama. I'm so glad to have you. Hi, Mary Cobb. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you. Y'all are awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm so glad to see you. Thank you, thank you. And if I missed you, please know that I'm so thankful to have you today. So I am making chicken and dumplings. And I did a couple things ahead of time just because I'm trying to fit it all in. Hi, Jeanette. Thank you for being here. Good afternoon to you, too. And so I did a little prep, okay? I pre-cooked my chicken. I like, when I do my chicken, I cook it in, I have an Instant Pot. It's not that brand, it's a different brand, but and that I use, and I did my chicken in there, and then I deboned it. I've already done all that, okay? So the broth that I cooked my chicken in is going to be the base of my chicken and dumplings. Hi, Kathy. I see people saying hi to you. There you are. Hi, Kathy. Thank you for being here. Hi, Mary. And y'all, if you missed Kathy, she was up before me from Quality Crafts by Kathy. And I just have to say, if you need a boost or just a smile, you should watch Kathy, because she will make you smile. She will make you happy. And she's always got on some cute outfit, and she's just awesome, y'all. And I enjoyed watching her. She made a lasagna, and she tried to show you just some little tips to make it easier, because lasagna takes a long time if you make it the traditional lasagna way. And she used an ingredient today that you traditionally don't use in lasagna. Can anyone tell me in the comments what that ingredient was? I would love to see if you watched, and if you could tell me what the ingredient is that she added to her lasagna today. Okay, so we're going to start out. So y'all, I want a little bit of onion. I have my broth that I cooked my chicken in. Oh no, I keep doing that, Kathy, too. Pepperoni, you got it, heart to art. Wonderful. I seen her first. That's awesome. Hey, message me and I'll send you something special in the mail. Okay, so send a message to Crafty Blessings with Angie's page, and send me your address, and I will send you a happy for being the very first one that I saw on my phone. Okay, so send me a message, and I will. You have to run in the school. You'll be back. Okay, thank you, thank you. So that was Heart to Art DIY, and I can't see your whole page name. I think I follow you, but I can't remember. Yeah, there's so many pages, I can't remember them all. So I'm just taking some onion and cutting it up. Y'all, I'm using that knife that Leslie got me. She just said that she's got to run in school, so she's missing me telling you. The last time I cooked on Sacred Treasure House, my knife wasn't super sharp. And Leslie said, I'm sending you a knife. I'm sending you something in the mail. Well, she didn't tell me what it was. I had a feeling I knew what it was. So she sent me a knife from Amazon. And this is a Grate. I think Grate is how you say it. And it is super, super sharp, y'all. Super, super sharp. And so I'm just dicing up this onion. I don't want huge pieces. I'm not a chef. I don't cut things perfectly. Her name's Maria. Thank you, Leslie. Okay, so I've got my pan here, and I'm going to put some butter and some of this, and I'm going to saute these before I add them to my stock, because I don't want a chunk of raw onion to pop up, in your chicken and dumplings. if you don't like onion, you don't have to put onion in chicken and dumplings. And you don't have to put another ingredient that I'm adding as well. But I like to add the vegetables. And so when it's just Terry and I, and even when my kids were home, we would throw some different vegetables sometimes in our chicken and dumplings, just to get those extra vegetables. But when my son-in-laws eat it, I can't put onions, and I can't put the vegetable that I'm adding. And I'll tell you what it is in just a minute. Okay? Can anybody guess what vegetable I might be adding to my chicken and dumplings today? Okay, so butter. I had it laying right there, and here I'm wandering off to go get it. So I am using some real butter today. I made the switch a few years ago and started using, when my kids were small, we used a lot of margarine. I'm probably using 2 tablespoons of butter. And chopped a core with heart. You got it right, carrots. I am adding carrots. Some people do add them. I pulled up some recipes, and that was true. Send me a message, chalk decor with heart. And I'll send you some Happy Mail too for answering that question. Okay, I'm going to turn on the heat on my stove, and we're going to saute those. I'm trying to be really good with my new pans and use something that won't scratch them. So I'm going to saute that. And I'm using my, y'all, I got the handles are just a little warm. Let me grab them. I got blessed with a gift early for my birthday. And it's this beautiful Dutch oven. And I've made bread in it the other day. But I decided I'd use it for my chicken and dumplings today. And are my comments showing up? Yes, Dee Dee. But I have to go by who I seen first. And I seen her first. But I seen yours. I'm so glad to have you, Dee Dee. Thank you for being here. Let's see if I can come up with another question. Maybe you could get it. So, in my stock pot, or my Dutch oven, I'm using it like a stock pot. I have in there, and I'm going to show you. I have my broth. I put a can of carrots. I didn't have enough real carrots. I had just a few in a bag in my refrigerator, so I decided to use a can of carrots. And then I've got in there, I usually use a powder chicken stock when I'm sorry, I just have to go by what I see. And it's weird how they go. Sometimes there's delays, whenever we're commenting and we think it's just that quick, but it's delayed a little bit. Okay. So I've got that, and I'm just going to put it on a simmer. And I've got my onions here. And I'm sauteing those. If I miss your comment, I will try to go back. Now, because it's going to take me a little bit to do... off. I'll lay that knife over by the sink. Because it's going to take me just a little bit to do the biscuit dough, I'm going to start that, okay? So, I guess I could leave that there. I have a bowl. And the first step, I'm not sure, I've never done this before. So I've never made sourdough biscuits. Y'all, when I make biscuits, I cheat a little bit. And I use Bisquick as a base, and then I add extra flour and all the things to it. And so I've never done, I can't say. I have made scratch biscuits before, but I just always go the easy way. But I've never done what I'm getting ready to do. I have never shredded butter before. So that's something very new for me. And this recipe calls for a cup of cold butter. So that's 2 sticks of butter. So I've got this Pampered Chef tool, and I haven't used this in forever. But we're going to try to use it to do our butter. You know what? I think I'm going to cut that stick in half. See if this knife will cut butter. This is frozen butter. There we go. Probably should have left the other one. And we're going to see how it does. It's doing pretty good. It's doing pretty good. Hello. I'm sorry. I know I'm missing comments, y'all. When you're home alone and you're doing this, it's hard to catch all those comments and keep on track with what all you're doing. So I apologize. I'm missing some comments. I will go back and look. Thank you all for coming and being here. Thank you for sprinkling out and letting people know that I'm live. And all the creators, you know, that's what helps us so much, for people to see our pages. And if you're new to me, thank you, Mary. This is a Pampered Chef tool. I've had it for years. I sold Pampered Chef right before I had just really kind of quit right before I met my husband. I had a job that took a lot of my time, so I decided not to do it anymore. Okay, I got my onions and they're all sauteed. I'm going to add my onion to my stock pot. Now, if you don't like onion in your chicken and dumplings, don't put onion. But we like a lot of flavor in our food. And we like vegetables. So, we'll put the lid back on that. I don't know if I need a lid on that. Let me set the lid over here. There we go. Those got a little bit darker than I would like to have them been, but that's okay. Thank you all. Thank you. So I'm just shredding up my butter. A cup of butter seems like a whole lot of butter, but I know. Okay. It's not wanting to go the way I want it to go. There we go. Maybe a little better now. You want your butter directly out of the freezer if you try to do this. You probably could cube your butter up, but I think it will blend a lot easier in my flour for your butter. Yes, you could use a grater. Use a regular grater. Your favorite recipe. Oh, yes. That's one thing that I missed about Pampered Chef. When I did it, you know, they really pushed for you to have the home parties and go in and make all the recipes. And I really enjoyed doing that. Even though back then y'all would have never seen me on a live. I was super, super shy. I was very backwards. I always would beg my friend to go with me. Well, she was my cousin too. She would go with me to my parties. And she mostly did. She did a lot of the talking for me because I was so shy and backwards. And I made a few mistakes at those parties because I was so nervous. But I think I would even enjoy it better now. But, you know, a lot of times the Pampered Chef creators now do the online parties and they don't do the live part. you know, going to somebody's house thing. I don't even think a lot of them do live like we're doing right now to demonstrate the products. And I think that's what helps when you're trying to show somebody how to use a product. Just got the dishes loaded in the kitchen looking good. Oh, yay. That's one thing about me, Kathy, is when I was younger and raising my kids and stuff, I was like, oh, I don't want to cook. I hate cooking something that takes so much dishes and you feel like you're in the kitchen all day long. And now that I'm older, it doesn't bother me as bad. Of course, I don't have my kids here to distract me and my kids. Another reason I'm making chicken and dumplings is my youngest daughter, Madison, when I told her what I was doing and I wasn't sure what I was going to make, she said, chicken and dumplings. And I said, baby, you know, that's not Daddy's favorite food. And she said, I love them. And I said, I know. And she said, I think I've decided, Mama, because on their birthdays, I always let them pick their favorite dish to make for their birthday, and I make their favorite cake and their favorite food. And we've done that since they were little. And she said, Mama, I know what my birthday food's going to be this year. And I said, what? She said, chicken and dumplings. And I said, oh, I'll just have to make chicken and dumplings. I might have to take her a bowl. Maybe not today, Madison, if you're watching. Maybe tomorrow or Saturday. You got booted. Oh no. They pick random things like we have a pasta dish that's tortellini, and they love it. It's a dish that you kind of bake. It has lots of cheese and chicken and bacon. It's kind of chicken bacon ranch tortellini. They pick that a lot. Sometimes it's just random with Madison. She might pick something you just really don't know. It might be something that I cook often, you know. It's not really something super special. But Hannah, generally, she would pick pasta because we don't eat a lot of pasta at our house because my husband's not a big pasta fan. So she would pick things like that because she knew Mama will make it because it's my birthday and Dad won't complain because it's my birthday. Fried chicken. Yes, I make homemade chicken strips that I bread and everything and cook myself. And I've made those for birthdays. And mac and cheese. Homemade mac and cheese. Usually the stuff I shouldn't eat because I'm diabetic. But I will tell y'all, I have started using sourdough and I see a difference. I see a difference. I see a difference in how I feel. And I see a difference in when I eat sourdough, my sugar doesn't go way. You know, if you eat bread and you're diabetic, your sugar just takes a huge leap. But with sourdough, it doesn't take that huge leap. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't go up. It does. But it doesn't spike. It goes up just gradually. And it doesn't seem to make you feel terrible. And I haven't had any high numbers with sourdough. Eating sourdough products. Okay, y'all. I'm getting there with this butter. I think what it is it's getting warmer in there and it's not churning so easy. My arms are getting a workout. Hey, Melissa. If you could pick, would you be your mom's fried chicken or beef pot pie, the noodle kind? if I could pick. Oh, yes. And you know, my mom can make some fried chicken. I'll tell you. She was the best fried chicken. I didn't think I would ever be able to make fried chicken the way my mom made it. And I still don't think I make it as good as her. I finally did get a little better at it. I do better with chicken breast than I do, you know, like strips, than I do with whole pieces of chicken. But my mom could fry. And it was so funny is I grew up in a family that I'm the youngest of 7. One died when he was a baby. So I grew up as the youngest of 6. And so when all of us kids were home, sometimes my brothers, because they had a different dad than me, sometimes they were gone. But when we were all together, which was often, you know, they would be with us. Y'all, that butter just don't seem to be doing it now. I think it's melting in there. That's a lot of butter. I think I'm going to chop up this last little piece so I can move on. So, my mom would make fried chicken. And I would watch her. And she would have a whole cast iron skillet full, you know, the biggest ones you can get. And she layered that chicken in that pan and still would always have perfect chicken, perfect crispiness, no burned spots. I do that and I've got the piece on the bottom's getting too brown and I'm ready to scream. Or you get a piece and it's perfectly brown but it's not done in the middle. We've been through that. Okay, I'm just taking and cutting up the rest of this butter into some little pieces because it just, I think what it is melting in my shredder. Okay, so we got these little pieces. So I haven't made sourdough biscuits before. This is a new thing for me, but I have a dear friend that's doing this sourdough journey with us, and she made them the other day, and so I had pulled up some recipes. Hi, is it Chesney? Or, I hope I'm saying that right. Welcome. Where are you from? I am from West Tennessee, but really close to Mississippi. That's what I tell everybody. I live 1 mile from Mississippi. Okay. Woo. Let me set this over here out of our way. So, my mom could just do it perfectly, and I miss her fried chicken. But my mom has been passed away a long time. She died in 1995. Michigan, welcome. So this is our shredded butter, okay? So to our shredded butter, we're going to add, the recipe calls for 1 cup. So as I was saying, I pulled up a bunch of different recipes for sourdough biscuits, and my so I messaged my friend that had actually made them, and they turned out really good, and I asked her for her recipe. The only thing is when I looked at her recipe, there was one thing that I wanted to change. Let me see. I'm gonna just, I don't know why I did that. I'm just gonna stir that flour in there with the butter. This is one thing that's cool about shredding your butter. You know, what you want when you're making biscuits is you want little crumbles of flour and butter, right? It almost perfectly does it without you having to do all the work to get it like that. But her recipe calls for 1 cup of butter, but it doesn't call for any milk. And I want to use a little buttermilk. So, we're going to add just a touch more flour. And if she's watching, she knows me. I like to tweak things. So I'm going to put another 1/2 cup. Now this is all-purpose flour, okay? All-purpose flour. So I'm going to show you what our butter and our flour. Normally you have to work really hard. I'm going to use my hands and just make sure I get this butter mixed up really good. My hands have been washed multiple times in the last little bit. Thank you for welcoming our new friends. Oh, there's Brandy from Lake Farm Primitives. Y'all, she's amazing. It's Simply Bewitching by Wendy. My mom told me the perfect fried chicken is browned and crisp and fried in the oven to cook through. I've tried that. I have, because I got so frustrated. I wanted to make it like Mom's, and I tried putting it in the oven and everything, and you know, I had trouble with it because it dried it out, and my family likes the juicy. So I learned just to turn that heat down and let it not cook so quickly on the outside. That's the biggest tip I could tell you, and I'm still not perfect at it. I don't make fried chicken, whole fried chicken that often, you know, like whole pieces. And if I do, most of the time I cook legs or thighs, and I don't cook a whole chicken. I just cook legs and thighs because they're the easiest to get done all the way, because they're smaller pieces and the bone is closer. Unless I'm doing chicken strips, and then see, you want granularly all your butter kind of mixed all in. Now Dee Dee, if she's still on here, Dee Dee bakes a lot. She's probably like, Angie, I need to come teach you. We've talked about meeting, and we haven't been able to get together when she comes close to me. I know she bakes a lot because we're friends on Facebook, and personal friends. Okay. So I'm setting my flour back here. So then the next thing that we're going to do is, I want to look at her recipe just to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So I've got a bowl right here, and we're going to get our sourdough starter. Now, this recipe calls for discard, and if you know anything about sourdough, every time that you feed your sourdough, pretty much, you are going to discard, okay? So this is my sourdough starter, and it rose more last night and it's fell. It's more than what I normally do because I've been trying to pep it up a bit. So normally it's usually about at the line of that rubber band, okay? So I'm going to pour, she said to use 3/4 a cup of discard, but I want a good sourdough taste. So I am using my active starter, but it hasn't been fed yet. So it's basically discard. And I'm using a little more than what her recipe called for. She's probably like, why do you even ask for my recipe? But, you know, I'm a tweaker. And I know how much moisture that I want in my biscuits. So I'm putting 1 cup of my starter. You see how it looks? It's got air bubbles in it. It's kind of stretchy. That's a good sourdough, a good active sourdough starter. So to that, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Well, Melissa, the best thing I could tell you is if you can't find someone locally that does sourdough that would give you an active starter just to begin, would be to buy a dehydrated starter. You can get them on Amazon, and some specialty stores probably have them. That's what we initially did. Well, Madison did. I bought her one for Christmas. Now I'm just mixing my buttermilk and my active starter together and just getting it thinned out, okay? That's all I'm doing. And then, pretty sure her recipe says to mix it together. Oh wait, I forgot. Well, I forgot to add my baking powder and baking soda. I am using all-purpose flour, so we need to add just a little bit of baking powder. I almost grabbed the wrong thing for the baking powder. Oh, and I forgot something else too. So I'm putting 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Is that right? No. It was supposed to be 2 teaspoons. I had the right measure after all. So we're going to make this 1 teaspoon. That's 1. And then we're going to add... Okay. There we go. And we're supposed to do 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. So now let's mix that all together before we add in our starter and our buttermilk. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of honey to our buttermilk and our starter, okay? 1 teaspoon of honey. If you don't have honey, you can use sugar. Now, I'm making biscuits to go with chicken and dumplings, but I'm going to use part of my biscuit dough. Sorry, you had your hand in flour. You silly. I'm going to use part of my dough to make my dumplings, okay? Whatever's left is what I am going to... Now I'm just going to pour my liquid in and stir. Pour some more liquid in and stir. Whoops. Let's don't do that. And you're making a dough, okay? We're making biscuit dough. It's going to be our dumplings, and whatever's left after we do some dumplings is going to be biscuits. These are sourdough biscuits. Now we're just stirring, incorporating all that. You could use your hands. You don't have to be super messy when you're making this, but eventually my hands will probably go in this. Just to incorporate all of the ingredients. Kathy, you are crazy. Yes, Melissa, as I said, you can buy a dehydrated starter on Amazon. The one that I did bought for Madison, she got it going. She started getting it active, made things. She took some of her discard and gave it to me. And then I worked with mine and got mine going with her discard. And then I passed it on to someone else. It's a really cool thing. And, but that would be, if I was going to tell you, you can make your own starter. You just have to have a lot of patience. It's basically flour and water, and letting it sit out and becoming that starter. But it takes a lot of patience to keep it from getting mold and all these things. So that's why I recommend you buy you a starter from someone, or if you know someone locally that makes it, that they would share some of their starter with you. And there's some wonderful groups here on Facebook that share tips. Some of them get a little crazy, you know, and you might get 10 different opinions about what to do, what not to do, okay? So to take that into mind. But okay, I've about got all of my butter and flour mixture all incorporated together. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to get my table cleared off. I got a clean dishcloth. I'll pull out a cutting board. I'm going to get me a little bit of flour, just a little bit of flour. Forget I can't do that with that measuring cup. Probably was a little too much flour, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna press my biscuit dough down. You don't want to get too much flour in there, but you got to remember you got a cup of butter in there that as it melts, it's going to make it soft, okay? But you want your dough thinned out. So the first thing I'm going to do is wash these hands out again. I think I'm going to cut my biscuits first. I'm going to go backwards because I want to get them in the oven. So I've just got a small pan. I'm not making a lot of biscuits because I'm going to use the rest to make my dumplings, okay? We're stretching this. I just sprayed my pan. I got me a little biscuit cutter, not a great big one. And I'm going to cut out a few biscuits. One, two, three, four. I think maybe 6. Okay, so I got 6 biscuits. Now I'm just going to be plain and blunt with you. If you are trying to cut back on fat, you're trying to cut back on things, I use baking grease a lot of times with my biscuits. It's just what I do. And if you are not a fan of it, don't do it. So I'm going to pour just a little bit of my baking grease that I keep on my stove. In my pan. And I should have just done that instead of spraying my pan. That's generally what I do. So I'm just moving it around in there. I'm going to take my biscuit and now, like I said, if you're on some kind of diet and you're trying to cut back on things, you probably don't want the extra bacon grease. But I just think it makes the best biscuits. And when I do biscuits, I push them together. Biscuits like to be friends. And I think actually I might have to put one more biscuit. They like to be friends. If you like your biscuits to poof up and all that, you want them to be friends. I'll show you what I got. Okay. I know that looks like a lot of bacon grease. Okay. So I've got my oven preheated to 425 degrees, and I'm putting those in the oven. Now the rest of my dough is going to become my dumplings. You use bacon grease to make gravy. Yes, I do too. I know. And you know, I know I'm going to tell you, I think you can do certain things I wouldn't need it every day. You know, if you do things in moderation, I think in life, everything needs to be in moderation. You know, don't eat bacon grease every day. Don't eat bread every day. Don't eat butter every day. You know, there are certain things. But if you do things in moderation, you can allow yourself to have, even if you have cholesterol problem, because this girl right here has to watch her heart. I have heart history in my family, and I have to watch my heart. But I also know, I know my levels. I get my blood work done regularly, and I know my levels, and I know what I need to avoid and what I don't, what I can have in moderation. So that's just my suggestion. If you don't want to use bacon grease, don't use it. You could just as easy probably spray your good spray on the bottom and spray some on the top and maybe get the same, but bacon grease makes it taste so good. So I'm using a little smaller cutter that I have, and these are going to become my dumplings. Okay, I'm just cutting out these little circles. So I'm going to turn my heat up so I can get my broth boiling a little bit. Y'all, some of my onions got a little charred too much. I need to pull those charred pieces out. They got a little too much. See, I got 15 minutes. Hopefully I can show y'all some finished something. Okay, I'm not gonna leave my dumplings in those whole pieces, okay? Because then it'll just take longer for them to cook. And see, when Angie makes something like this, let me tell you, I am diabetic, and I do try to watch my heart and everything because I have heart history, okay? But when I make dumplings, I put a lot of chicken. Let me show you. This is for my husband and I. I'm not making as much as I would for a whole family. This is a lot of chicken. So I up my protein. And when I scoop out my bowl, I won't get as many dumplings. I'll get a few, and I'll have a little biscuit. But I won't load my bowl down with a whole bunch of dumplings. I'll make sure I'm getting a lot more chicken. Okay? So you can kind of balance out if you're diabetic. I've learned for myself, I got a few little pieces in here that I really, I don't know if I can get them out. They're really soft. Well, just know, I charred my onions. I don't think I can get them out. That's going to be okay. They're not burnt to taste. They just look kind of funny because they're a little darker than what I would have liked them to be. Trying to do this and that. So I added all my chicken into my stock pot. In here I have chicken broth from my chicken with a little extra chicken broth added to it. I have canned carrots. I have sauteed onions. They got a little too dark. And I just added my chicken. Now I'm going to get my stuff boiling before I add my dumplings. Everything in moderation. That's right, Kathy. You even bought Girl Scout cookies. And y'all, I found that if I tell myself you're diabetic, you have heart issues, you can't have this, you can't have that I crave it more. So I let myself have a little. And then, and I've even been told by my doctors, do it that way. Because if you don't, then you'll binge and you'll eat a bunch of stuff and you'll crave it so much that you'll find yourself eating it all the time. And so that's what I do. I do it in moderation. So I'm just going to take a butter knife and I'm going to take these dumplings and I'm going to quarter them. Okay? I use a little cutter and now I'm quartering them into quarter size pieces. And like I said, when it comes to like the dumplings or the biscuits, they have sourdough in them. And for me, the sourdough has really helped. I have a lot of have had a lot of stomach problems, digestive problems through the years, and it's a lot better now that I have my sugar under control, my cholesterol's under control, my blood pressure is under control. Y'all, God has been so good to me. He's helped me get all of those things in line, and that, you know, it used to worry me that I was going to leave my kids, you know, a lot younger than I wanted to leave my kids, because my mama left me when she was 49. And so I'm very cautious about things. But God's been good to me. And I really think that you can still have, me personally, you can still have a little bit of something. Now, if you have I have a person in my life that told me recently that she can't allow herself to have things like that because she has her doctor told her that she has I can't remember how she worded it now, but that she wouldn't be able to stop. She has this certain thing about her that she can't do in moderation. She has to just completely eliminate. So if you're one of those kind of people, then I do suggest eliminate. Okay. So I've got it's boiling. So I'm going to bring this over here. Well, that's still a little warm. Not real bad. I think it'll be okay. And I'm going to start dropping in my dumplings. Dum, dum, dum. And this was perfectly the amount, I feel like, that's good for having a small pan of biscuits, and having enough dumplings in my chicken and dumplings. And when you taste the sourdough, I will tell you, some sourdoughs are really sour. Some are not. So if you start a sourdough journey, there's little things, if you like it sour, that you'll find that you'll love. And then there's ways to do things that's not quite as sour. Like the amount of sourdough that you add to a recipe sometimes will make your bread more sour or less sour. We've been learning as we go. My daughter Madison anytime she learns little things, she shares it with me. And that's one of the things that we've learned. Like if your recipe calls for a good amount of sourdough starter, and it seems odd, but the more sourdough that you add, the less sour your bread will be. And then depending on how you ferment your bread, like when I make the bread that I made the other day, I'll show you a piece of what I have left. I shared it with some friends. I'm going to turn my temperature down because I don't want this to scorch. I got 8 minutes. I want y'all to see inside this pot. Okay? Now, don't mind, there's a really bad piece of onion right there. It's got a few little dark spots, okay? Because of my onion got a little charred. Set it back over here and let it simmer really low. And cook. Now, I don't want to move that around too much with a spoon because it makes it break apart. So I'm going to try to let it simmer and cook. Now, what I will do if my broth doesn't thicken after I let those cook for a little bit, is I will add a little heavy cream, and I will also, if I need it, I like to add a little bit of gravy mix. That's an odd thing to add, but it's something that I think that helps. It adds a little bit of flavor. You could also use cornstarch, but I like to use this. okay? But I need to let those cook a little bit before I do anything else, because if you stir them too much, they'll break apart and you won't have very many dumplings, okay? So while that's doing that, let's check our biscuits. Oh, they're doing wonderful. They're doing wonderful. Okay. I was going to show you something. Oh, my bread. I made bread the other day. Now, this is only my second time making bread, sourdough bread. My first loaf, I did an inclusion loaf with cheese and everything bagel seasoning. And I wasn't super happy with it. For one, it didn't have the holes and things that you want sourdough bread to have. For two, I didn't have enough salt. And for three, it was really, really crunchy. So, I've learned a few things. And this was my loaf from the other day. See the brownness? Now, it does have a hard crust. It's a crusty bread. See how it looks on the inside? That's what you're going for. You want little holes and things. That's what sourdough bread is supposed to look like. Not that mine's perfect, because I'm not perfect. But it did turn out really great. And I learned, before I pull it out of the oven, to make sure that your dough is done in the middle. Take you a meat thermometer, stick it in, and it needs to be over 200 degrees inside. Okay, so that's a little tip for you if you want to try sourdough bread. Okay, so put that over here. So let's see. Don't want to tear apart my dumplings. I don't want them to stick on the bottom. They're looking so good, y'all. They're looking so good. Of our biscuits, maybe they'll get done and I can show you. So I hope that you're enjoying today's event. While I have a few minutes, let's tell you about the rest of it, okay? You can go to the Sacred Treasure House group. It's a group on Facebook. It's in the description. And you can see all the crafters. Up before me was Quality Crafts by Kathy, and she made a lasagna. And y'all, she used pepperoni. Pepperoni. And I love pepperoni. And I've never put pepperoni in lasagna before. I don't make lasagna very often either. But it looked really good. And then you have me. And then after me, we have Lisa's Craft House. And if you've never watched Lisa, she is such a sweet, sweet crafter and cook. She makes a lot of wonderful foods. She usually has multiple things she's going to show you, so you don't want to miss her. And then after her is our one of the other hosts of this event, which is Tanya from Timeless Treasures by Tanya. And Tanya is amazing. I can't say anything else about Tanya. All of these people are amazing. If I don't say more about one, it's just because Angie's scattered. And then after her, you have Simply Bewitching by Wendy. She's amazing too. And after her, you have Creative Designs and DIY from Blueberry Hill. And she's amazing too. And then my dear friend, Kim from my corner, is up at 6 o'clock. And then she's amazing too. And Kim loves to cook, y'all. She has a whole cooking page or a whole cooking group. So check out Kim. And then we end the night with LT Designs, and they're always amazing. And you just never know which family member you may get and what they will be making. And so please join us the rest of the day, and I'm sure that you will be blessed by it. And I'm so thankful to be a part of this. I love it. You know, I almost love the cooking more than I love the crafting. And you know I love my crafting. So, let me go. I want you to see these biscuits. Looky, looky, looky. Look at those. Aren't they pretty? They are so pretty. Okay, just because I want you to see what it looks like on the inside, let me grab. grab a plate. So I want you to see what one looks like on the inside. They're still very, very hot. I don't know if I can even get one out. So those over there are more, they're a little taller, but. And too, when I was researching recipes for sourdough biscuits, some of them actually will make their dough and let it ferment more before they bake them. So you can do whatever you would like. I had to do a quicker thing. I didn't have time for that's why I can't really do bread on a 1 hour live, because it's a longer process. And so it's just amazing to see. So up after me is Lisa's Craft House. And here at Crafty Blessings, I try to end every live with be a blessing. Well, who can you uplift, encourage, or inspire today? You know, there are so many people in this world. When you go to the cash register at the grocery store, can you smile at that person and tell them to have a good day? Because that could be the best thing that happened to them that whole day. You know, people tend to complain more than they compliment or say have a good day. So let's be a blessing. And be a blessing to this event and all these wonderful creators that are creating. They're cooking for you. They're making food in their kitchens, especially for you. And so tell them thank you and send them out and share them with your friends and family. That's being a blessing too. So our chicken and dumplings at our point right now. And I probably will add a little heavy cream and make my broth a little thicker. God bless y'all. Have a great day. I'll see you in the comments. Bye-bye.